Welcome to the Unshackled Life podcast, real talk about faith, freedom, and following Jesus. My name's Dalen Woodard, and this is one of those RambleCast episodes. Not scripted, not polished, just me talking it out and thinking it through. They may have even been recorded on the fly with interruptions or background noise. If you're up for an honest, sometimes messy, but hopefully meaningful musing, you're in the right place. Let's go. Public service announcement. There's a football game today. Not sure if you're aware of it or not. There are people who may not know, and there are people who may not care. Anybody who is in the group of, there's quite a lot of them that are only going to watch for the commercials. It's all about the commercials. The commercials are a big deal. I mean, it's between $8 and $10 million per 30-second spot. But they call it the Super Bowl, and they still don't call it a super commercial bowl. Why? Because it's all about the game. Regardless of our opinion, regardless of what we think, it's about the fact that there's a championship game that's going to happen on the field today. And the truth of the matter is, you take the game away, and some of those commercials would still be cool. And some of those commercials would still be very creative. And some of them would still be just as stupid as most of them are going to be. And some of them are still going to be inappropriate. And some of them are still going to be great. But none of them are going to be paying the kind of money that they're paying for a 30-second spot. A lot of these companies will continue to play the commercials for a long time, trying to get their money's worth. They're just going to go out into the void of noise with all the rest of the commercials. What makes them so valuable is there's a game on the field. And yeah, the commercials and the Super Bowl parties and the food and the spectacle help make it more super in our minds. But the truth of the matter is, you could take the spectators and you could take the cameras and you could take the commercials and you could take the snack foods and everything else associated with it and remove it. And two teams could play each other, and when they got done, one would be declared a winner and would get the rings and the trophy, and the effect is all the same. Why? Because what's essential is that game on the field. That's what matters. Now, I don't like to attribute and correlate our lives and our relationship with God to a game. But there are things about the faith that we enjoy. There are things about the faith that you might be more interested in and enjoy than a lot of other things. We call them secondary issues. It's part of it, but it really has a lot less to do with those essentials than we would like to think sometimes. But there are some things that are all about what happened, that what matters, what it makes it all come together, and why those secondary issues are part of something bigger. God created us in His image to be reflections and flavor of Him in this world. Because of sin and corruption, we can't do that well. None of us. We fall short. And there is a distance between him and us that we can't close. So we have death instead of life. And out of love for us and care for us, because he knows that this broken world has broken us, wanting to give us life and restore us, God took on flesh. One of those things on the field is God stayed God, but God also became man. All the attributes of man plus God. And he lived the life that we were always supposed to. No sin. Perfect love. Perfect obedience. Perfect submission. He didn't screw up and then get a clean slate at the baptism. He did it perfect the whole time. Then he went to the cross in his perfection under false judgment. He was beaten and crucified, and he died. Dead. No heartbeat. No breath. No brain function. Dead. In our place. To make it possible for us to be made his. To become the children of God. To be adopted into his family. To have relationship with our Creator. To be made clean. To be made whole. To be made alive. And he took on the death we deserved. And he gave us the victory of righteousness that he earned. And they took him off that cross and they laid him in a tomb. A little bit later, 3 days, it's a figurative type thing though, don't be counting hours. I'll explain that come Easter, I'm sure. He blew that stone right off of that cave that he was buried in and walked out. Physically alive. Because he lives, we can have life. Because he lives, the enemy is defeated and it's done. There are a few more essentials than that, but those are the ones that are all about what happened when God said, "Let me establish forever the ultimate record. I have won, and that which is not of me has lost. Love has won, and that which is not love has lost. Life has won, and death has been defeated." It's done on the cross, and it's over. Now, some of those other things that we like are interesting and they're fun and we like them, but don't be fighting over them. Don't be rejecting people over them because they're basically commercials. They add to it. I'm not saying they're not important. I'm saying what's essential is who Jesus is and what Jesus did and who we are and the relationship we can have and do have because we have put our faith and trust in who he is and what he's done. That which reunites us to Jesus. His body broken, his blood spilled on our behalf so that we can be one. Even if we don't like the same commercials. If you believe in Jesus, Russ Taff once sang, "You're my brother, you're my sister." Why? Because we all have the same daddy. The Father is ours because Jesus came, because Jesus died, because Jesus rose to prove his power, his sovereignty, and his identity as the name above all names, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and as Carmen put it, the ultimate champion. So let's remember who he is and what he's done for us. And focus in on what matters most, the person of Jesus. And let's try to be a little less distracted by the things that are less about him and perhaps more about us, even if they're about us in relationship with him. It's all about him. Thanks for spending some time with me today. If this RambleCast sparked a thought, stirred something in you, or gave you something to wrestle with, I'd love to hear about it. You can reach out by email to DalenWoodard@minister.com. That's DalenWoodard@minister.com. And if you're finding these episodes helpful, feel free to share them with someone or leave a comment or a review. Until next time, be blessed, and remember, when you fix your thoughts on God and build your thinking on the foundation of his truth, God fixes your thoughts.